Good morning, Warriors. Back with another episode of Vigor Warriors 2 and the 1% Club. Hope you guys are doing well this morning. Hope everything had a nice Thanksgiving. You're blessed, as we are all blessed with things, and especially with our knowledge and information and wisdom that we're getting every day. And it's great to be blessed and thank the Lord for that. So I hope you and your family had a great holiday day yesterday. And I'm a little bit hoarse because I was rooting for these football games, and have a little bit of hoarseness with that. So if it's hard to understand, that'll be why. But I think we can get the message across today and kind of talk about some things. First, I want to do a bunch of shout outs because I did catch up a little bit. I still got some from yesterday, but Chaplain, thank you so much for your comments. Excellent. Mona Lisa, again, I appreciate all your insights. And, I'm not in any position to judge anybody, anything that people say. I'm still learning myself on this streak. But I think it's great to kind of look at different perspectives and see what things may be happening here. But all I know, again, is that almost like I remember reading the biography of autobiography or something like that, Mike Tyson. He had so much energy, and at his age that he was just a monster. And I feel like that. So one of my issue really is controlling some of that, because I can get very intense. Even at 61, I can yell, scream, I'll get upset. But I'm losing energy that way too. So I have to do a better job of controlling that a little bit. So I'm learning a lot. So little things that other people saying that kind of give some insight, I think is great. I want to talk about one a little bit that in a second here, but it's really an interesting type of thing. But yes, Mona Lisa, thank you. Jihad, thank you for your comment. Giovanni, as usual, thank you. Young Sauce, thank you. Flex Williams, Fresh Start, excellent comments. Adam, thank you. Robert, thank you. Abstract 10,015, thank you guys for all your well wishes. Mark, you're right. The universe is really, we're connecting with the universe. I think every day you're on retention, you're connecting more with the universe. And I call it God, but the universe, a lot of people call it different things. But, if your person doesn't believe in God, then the universe is something that, is something you can kind of look at being connected to. But whatever it is, we're connected with that force. And I think it goes back to the energy force that's important there. Dr. Vaughn's Life Investing, great. Thank you so much for your comment again. As usual, you're on top of things. Scott Allen, very good insight. Eduardo, as usual, a lot of great insights. I'm going to kind of focus on a couple of these as we go through. Fresh Start again, thank you. Osara, thank you. James, LZ, Frostbite, you guys are all wonderful, giving great comments, and please continue to do that when you get the ideas and chance to do that. So I think I covered everybody that was going to cover. We're going to do some new ones pretty soon. I think this one we're going to talk about is that women sense your energy and will actually hunt and chase for it. So we'll talk about that in a second here. But Eduardo, I think I think it's coming from Eduardo actually. So we'll talk about Eduardo's comment a little bit. Other ones that I'm going to talk about in the future, again, some added ones. Digestive system, Frostbite asked me about that. Walking, Flex talked about that a little bit. We'll kind of add that to our list. And we have a bunch of these that we're going to try to keep going with. And I have about 40 of them now, so you guys are wonderful. So, all right, so guys, please go ahead and, being agreeable, disagreeable with women. I think that Jordan Peterson talked about one of those. I'm going to talk about that in an upcoming one. And that God identifies with two types of animals a lot in the Bible, the eagle and the lion. And they're both leaders. They're not the biggest, especially the lion. They're not necessarily the strongest, but they're respected, and we'll talk about why in a future broadcast. So, all right, so let's go ahead and talk about this one that I thought was very interesting. Eduardo made some great comments, and he's talking about energy and talking about how women sense energy. So let's kind of talk about why this is the case. And I know we've talked about this before, but we want to get an understanding of this, and we're going to talk a little bit about this Jordan Peterson thing a little bit too. Maybe I'll kind of combine this a little bit together. So why is it that women become attracted to men, to you guys? And I'm talking more in sense of women only because we have a large group of men who ask me these questions. Obviously, we're going to talk about women's benefits at a certain point as one of my topics. I also do get comments from women on different things, and that's great as well. We're going to talk about those ideas as we go along. But I think when it comes to this attraction, a lot of men, especially young men in this channel, really are interested in why this is the case. And so let's go ahead and talk about this, because the benefits of this continue going. And I don't care if it's your wife, I don't care if it's your girlfriend, I don't care if it's women, they will treat you differently. And we've had so much testimonies of this, in a lot of the responses, and I've seen this in my life, and I continue. Yesterday was just another good day of that. And I say good day because it's a flattering thing for me to get that type of response, where many years I didn't have that. And I haven't changed all that much. In fact, any worse, you would suspect that it would have gotten worse because I'm older, and obviously I'm getting older, so my looks don't look the same as I looked back when I was 20. But that's not the key, and I think a lot of people have mentioned that. It's got nothing to do with physical qualities. You learn this in the Fountain of Youth book. It's really more about your energy. And now that I know that, and I really understand what that Fountain of Youth book talks about, I mean, the exercises I always have done since 1998, but it wasn't until I really kind of reeled in and dialed in to this sixth rite of the Fountain of Youth book, and that's the using transmuting energy. Now, they don't mention it that way, they don't talk about semen retention that way, but not having sex, you understand that, right? And of course, you understand why that's important. And Kendler talked about the fact that you become superhuman that way. And that's how I feel. I mean, like I said, I have to reel in my intensity level at times, because I basically have so much energy. I have to make sure, like a few people said, go and take a walk. I take a lot of walks, but there's energy there. So my challenge is using this energy in the right way. And I think that's a challenge we all have. But if you see it, the energy is there, right? And you see it. And so when you look at this and you look at the idea of just pure energy, most people respond. Now, let's go back to the old days, the cavemen days, those type of things. When you look at this, you realize that it all comes down to a simple fact. We can have all this cultural stuff. We could talk about people being, culturalized and society socialized, all that kind of stuff, and all these nice behaviors and neat behaviors. But when it comes down to it, there is still a barbarian part of all of us. As my kitty cat jumps on the back of me here, and this is a different one. This is called Sass. So she's a crazy one. But the thing is that when you look at this, we realize that we have that instinct, and that overrides a lot of things. You may not say, people may not come out and say this, but there's that instinct that males and females have. What is that instinct? Well, we go back to the old idea that when you get people together, they have to survive. And their instinct to survive and to mate, because one of the things that females especially have this thing, but males have it in a different way, is to further generations. It makes sense that you don't want to be the last person in your lineage, and you want to continue, because if everybody doesn't continue, everybody dies off. And so we have that instinct behind us. No matter how much money you make, all this other stuff, that helps, bring the people, kids up. That helps do all that kind of stuff to make life better. But really, the bottom line is, what's the purpose you're having? And for a lot of men and women, subconsciously, the purpose is to have children, to move ahead, or yes, and just continue using the energy in a way that's very productive. And so you see men for years, going back to the pyramid days, and everybody using all their energy to go ahead and build in things and to protect people, protect their wives and families and their communities and their towns and all that kind of stuff. And men do that because, once again, survival is at stake. Now, the woman is important for the nurturing, raising the children, family, all that kind of stuff. They basically they don't have the physical prowess that a lot of males do. Now, there's some that do, but many of them don't. And so what the bottom line is that they realize for their safety over thousands of years that they have to find somebody that has that. And so what they do is they don't look at the person, and you could tell some of it, of course. You look at somebody who's got a weightlifter as compared to somebody who's walking the street, you can say, okay, this person has some possibility. But it becomes more instinctual. And men and women instinctively know. We had a discussion yesterday to some friends of mine at Thanksgiving dinner. We talked about the mating aspect of things, that people down deep look at that. And you may just joke about it and not say anything about it, but down deep you know. If you're looking for a partner, you're looking to see, well, what are my kids going to look like? What are things going to look like? How am I going to look with this partner? This is all the kind of stuff that people think about. Because this is human nature. You're not going to get together with someone who you think it doesn't look good to have children, because the children are going to reflect that. And so this is a thought pattern that we have. And so when we look at trying to decipher, okay, who is good and who's bad, we look at that energy level. We sense it. We sense this is a person who has things going on, that there's someone that's kind of high energy. And so when they see this, they sense the energy. And now, how you behave is obviously the second part of this. Because what women do is, and they look for a number of different keys. Because they want to make sure, A, that you're the right person to have children with, and B, you're someone who's going to stay there, protect, and provide. And yes, you may think this is an old style thing, but it's not an old style thing, because this is the way things are. They should be. When you deviate from all of that, you're going to have major issues. And God has said this many times. You have to have that masculine and feminine types of energy. And what ends up happening is those things make a big difference when it comes to sensing and mating and those things we look at. And you look at any species, you can tell that. I mean, you get a male dog who has a lot of high sexual energy, they'll be chasing the females all over the place. And the females, they draw that to them. Dogs, I see it all the time. So no one's hiding anything. They basically do it in a way where they look like they're not uncouth type individuals, like back in the barbaric days. But what difference does it make? It's still the end result's the same, you know. And the bottom line then is that women look for these men who have high level of energy, and they search for it. And a lot of times what happens is they're not finding it with a lot of these males nowadays, because what's happening is that you have very strong beta males who lose their energy all the time because they're releasing energy. And females see that. This is why most females are going after only the top 5%, because those men know how to conserve their energy. They know they're using their energy to make money and to do things. They're not sitting around just kind of, watching images and just, leaving the energy go. They're seeing that. And so they understand that. Now, when you top of that, you look at a man who keeps his energy, they become disagreeable. Now, what I mean by this is that women will hunt you down, and they will just be on top of you if they want that energy. But they also need to know what kind of person you're at. And those people who are strong retainers, they're the ones that Jordan Peterson calls, those people are called, and what my notes are saying here, they become the disagreeable people. Now, what do I mean by disagreeable? I don't mean disagreeable in the sense that they're fighting all the time. That could happen. I mean, people have a lot of passion and emotion. But women draw on that. It's amazing to me when I've seen situations where you think that, oh, well, these people are breaking up, they're yelling and screaming. Well, no. Some people, and especially a lot of women, like the drama. I've seen that with my daughters and my wife all the time. They love the drama because it gives them energy. Now, you're think about it from the male perspective, you're kind of giving energy away. And I've done that a little bit recently because I have trouble controlling this superpower. That's something I got to work on. But the thing is that energy is being grabbed by the females. They love it. They love the excitement. They love this because it's energy that they're sucking up. And because they will lose energy. From what I understand, and maybe I'm wrong, but what I understand is when women go through their period during the month, they lose energy. And so they are looking for energy. They're looking for people to kind of build them up and be strong. And so what happens then is they search out males. Now on top of this, then they have to be able to be with that male, raise children, and have someone there to protect them, right? I mean, if you think, see, we talk about this idea of love, and yes, there is love, but there's also the idea of people are just being biologically practical. If you have if a female has a male around that just doesn't look like they can protect anybody, they're not going to stay with that person. Yeah, they may have some fun with the person, but they're not going to stay with the person. They're sensing this energy. They also want to know, are you going to be like a desperate type of guy just chasing the woman around and doing anything she wants? This is called agreeable, being agreeable. You can't be like that. But the semen retention gives you that power to say no and to be disagreeable. And the more you're disagreeable, the more the female craves that, because the attention is part of this energy. And if you're giving attention to this, they're getting some energy. Now, of course, the most energy they get is obviously having intercourse with you and you releasing. But that's something you have to make a choice with. And we all make choices as men, as warriors here. We make choices on whether or not we're going to give our energy up. Remember that. You're not giving just energy up freely. There has to be a reason for this. If you're doing it for a reason, you can go back and say, okay, well, I did that for a reason. But women, mark it down. Women will hunt you down. And this is the way life biologically should be. Yes, in our life, there's kind of an illusion here. It looks like the males are chasing the females. But I will guarantee you that in 99.9 cases, the female has already made the choice to mate or get together with the male, get together with the male. They've already made that choice. They know it. They're giving signals out, and most of the time, males are responding to those signals. It's really the women chasing the men, but you can't see that, and that's something that's not something that's in our world. I gotta push my thing over here for a second. That's not in this world, right? Now, interesting enough, we've had some emails about animals and people talking about, once again, energy. I got all the cats in the room here, and the dogs are sitting in the next room. Animals sense the energy too. Here comes the second one. Man, oh man, they're all crazy in here. That's my guy Thor, the Viking guy. But the thing is that you sense the energy, and animals sense the energy, right? A little guy back here, right, Thor? Okay, see, they sense the energy, and so if they sense the energy, other beings sense the energy too. And that's the whole thing. The animals don't think like we do. At least we don't think they think like we do, right? They sense the energy. They crave that energy too because they want to be part of that. It's something they like. It energizes them as well. So same thing with females and males. But the thing is that females lose that energy, especially during the period of the month. And so what happens is they have to go ahead then and find males to be with. And this is why you see this happening a lot. But females, they can work with other females, and usually women live a lot longer than men because of their networking and relationships. But if they find a male that has this energy that's boundless, then they'll stick with that male forever. No matter what that male does, they'll stick with the male because it's an energy thing. And obviously, the more like they are that beast mentality, the better, stronger, and the more attractive they are. This is why we go back to that Beauty and the Beast. The fact that you're disagreeable is like the Beast. Almost like that Wolverine character in X-Men, right? That beast that you have inside of you can at any minute erupt. Females, they love this stuff. Women love this stuff because, once again, it's subconsciously now. They may never say this to you, but subconsciously, what they want is to soothe this beast. Now, when they want the beast, then you become agreeable. Most of them don't want you anymore. And maybe I'm wrong, females. You can always chime in and tell me. But a lot of times, females do not want a male that's totally agreeable all the time, because they need a person who's going to rise up in a situation if they're being attacked or something's happening and defend them. They may not say it that way, and with all the different things we've had over the years, maybe they don't want to say it that way. But the bottom line is still the bottom line. Males are strong, and males need to protect, and males need to provide. And females know that. They sense that. They look for that. They look to see if they can find somebody that is like that. And they'll search forever for that person because that's going to provide them what they want. Yes, they may marry somebody who doesn't have that for other reasons. People marry for lots of reasons. But the bottom line is that really what they're trying to do is find somebody. They're gonna dream about these men who have this energy. That's who they're gonna dream about. That's why they respond so much differently to you. I believe they're thinking about these things when you talk to them, and thoughts race through their minds. I mean, it's a very interesting type of thing, but it goes back to the same old thing, right? Go back to the same old caveman day. Women would give signals to men. Men would just ravage them in a way, in a positive way, if there is a positive way for that, right? And then they would be together. Now, how you break that down? I mean, you could say that's right or wrong. You could say a lot of that stuff, but that's what used to happen all the time. But the thing about it is that then the male would then protect that female. Now, it's a very interesting, curious thing because we still have that thing happening nowadays. It's just not as out in the open because people get upset when you talk about that kind of stuff and it's labeled that way. But in the long run, that's the way it has to be because males are just physically bigger than females are. And females have trouble protecting themselves in many, many cases. So you got to have that type of situation. So, I know people may be saying, well, Vigor, you don't know what you're talking about. Well, I could. That's very possible. But I just tell you what I've seen over the years. And what I've seen over the years that women will sense this energy, they will hunt it down, they will chase you because they want to have someone with them that has this high level of energy. Because they need people. A lot of them want to feel secure. They want to feel like there's somebody with them that's going to protect them and someone who's going to be with them. And this is something that's natural and nothing that should be wrong against it, but it's something we should be aware of. And so you're going back to the energy, it's important. It's also important to be disagreeable so that the woman that is with you understands that you're not just going to agree with everything they say. You're going to have your own opinions, you're going to do your own stuff, and you're going to be your own man. And that's important. Though I believe they'll respect it a lot more than if you're trying to do everything for them all the time. All right, my friends, anyway, good comments, great shout outs. Thank you guys so much. I know we've gone a little bit longer on this one, but I wanted to tell you guys that topic, and we're going to cover some more. I'll try to do one this weekend. If I don't get a chance to, I'll definitely do one on Monday. And until then, guys, have a great weekend. Enjoy yourselves, and we'll get back soon with another message on this Vigor Warriors 2 channel. God bless you guys. Battle on. And remember, every day is a new day to a wise warrior. God bless you guys. Take care.